A bit of a nervy finale, but a big win. How did you do it?
A big win. I'm very happy. For big periods, I think the team performed in an excellent way. I think the margin should have been bigger at halftime. The way we conceded the goal and the moment, especially that we conceded, it was painful. But as well as the quality of Chelsea, the players, and what they can deliver. So after scoring the 2-1, we had another big chance with Epps, and then the red card. And after that, we should have managed that situation better, but we can talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, just from your grin actually at the start of the interview, did you find that last, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe even longer minutes uncomfortable on the touchline?
They are uncomfortable because they have so much quality, and even when they use the keeper, they can get out of this situation with 10 man. We didn't adjust things well, and sometimes that happens. You take things for granted. We didn't play like we played the other action, especially when we had the opportunity to do so. So something to improve there.
What problems did they give you today? Because I remember you speaking before the match about what a tactically flexible side they are.
Yeah, and the players that can occupy various spaces. Cole, when he starts to play as a false nine and occupy these spaces, he just needs 1 square meter to turn and activate players in his back, and they have quality, a lot of feet everywhere, big personalities as well. They are really well coached, so yeah, it's okay.
Was it pretty difficult today to really lock them in? Sometimes you really seem to manage that, keep a team in their final third for 20, 30 minutes, and that was difficult today.
That you have them there, you think, now I'm going to win it, and they get out of it. And they are so good at turning tight spaces, Cancelo, Enzo, Cole. They have a lot of players. Joao, against our big centre-backs, the way he can hold in and twist the game and cause you problems is impressive. They are a top side.
Obviously, set pieces a massive factor. Mm-hmm. That's your 16th goal from a corner, the 9th time you've gone ahead in the game with a corner, the first goal. Just how big a factor are they becoming in modern football?
Very important. I mean, Chelsea are the second best as well with, I think, 1 less goal. I mean, look at the talent that they have. So you see it everywhere. We lost points from long throws. Lately, we haven't scored that many from set pieces. We scored the goals almost from open play. But today was necessary. We've done it. And to have these kind of options, it's great.
Yeah. How hard do you work on them to be as effective as you are?
I think like anybody else, attacking and defending, you know exactly what they're going to do, but they do it that well. That is an absolute nightmare to defend against it. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, those Reece James corners from that side swung it. Are they, I mean, will you say to you guys, we could have done this, we could have done that, or is it?
Yeah, on paper and the tactic boards, we can resolve any situation. When it's live and they are so aggressive and pushy and effective, and the deliveries are so difficult to handle, very tough.
How much nerve, how much mental strength do you think the team have shown in the last couple of weeks?
A lot.
Playing second after the disappointment of Wolves as well.
Well, the way we have reacted after that disappointing result has been top, and not only on the pitch, but the things that we have learned about ourselves, and I think the manner that we have dealt with that is top. So let's keep going.
Can you say what you've learned about your team?
I thought they were good, and they were good human beings, and I thought they wanted to win. But the level that they are in now, it's another one, I think.
Lastly, does the league enter a different phase now? Does it feel like the run-in is underway? You're into single figures for games left.
Yeah, I think we had that feeling for a long time. I think the feeling that you have to continue to win and win and win, and you win so many games, and it's not enough to open the gap, and this is the beauty and the level of this league.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you. Take care.
Good luck. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about managing the situation better against 10 men. Should it have been that nervy?
I don't think it should have, but I think when you look at Arsenal, the last few games, 4 or 5 games, it feels like that in every game, even though they've not gone down to 10 men in some of those. But you look at Chelsea going down to 10 men, and they seem to, obviously, they played with a little bit more freedom, but at the same time, you'd have thought that Arsenal would have been more organised to try and get amongst them, drop off them, get the ball, and then break into the areas where they can. But it just seems very, I don't know, very fragile. I felt it. I mean, in the studio, I felt it. But like, in the end, they got over the line. But it's something that they've got to be worried about, because we're not finishing off games. We're not finishing off chances in the first half. I thought there were opportunities for people to take first-time shots or take the shots quicker. They didn't take them. And that's what can happen in the game. If the game goes like that, whether you go to 10 men or not, Gaffer, you know. If you don't take the chances, and it's one, the other team will get back in it, 10 men or 11 men.
Yeah, Mikel was saying about we've got to learn, but they went down to 10. They went against 10 men at the bridge, so they haven't learned. and they got a point then. Chelsea actually should have won that game. Again, they created quite a bit with 10 men. So they hadn't learned. They had a chance to learn. What would we do if it happens again? And they showed there that they were very nervous again. And it was one that they, as we said before, they got over the line. And you've got to do that. If you're going to win the league, if they're going to win the league over 38 games, you can't play pure every single game. But when your opponents, go down to 10 men and you're leading the game
at home,
that's a different scenario.
Is that not understandable, given the fact that they're there to be shot at? They haven't got over the line yet in previous seasons.
Steve, it's understandable, of course, because they've not got over the line, and this is the fourth time they're trying. So what's happening is that maybe they're having the ghost of Christmas past. I don't know what's going on in respects of not being able to get over the line more comfortably than they have done in the last few years, and they've got a better squad. It's something that they've experienced it. They know what's going to happen at this stage of the season, and I think they should be prepared better for it mentally. Because what you're seeing in every game, whether it's against Wolves or Manchester City, there's a period in the second half that everything seems to go out the window, and our goalkeeper ends up saving everything for us. And I don't think it should be like that with the amount of experience we've got in the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, well, they've been in this situation before, and they've blown it in a way. So they haven't really yet gone through that experience yet. If they win it this year and the same thing happens next year, they'll deal with it much easier. It's always. So
how mentally do they deal with it in these last 9 games?
Well, they've got to learn. They can't put their foot off the gas against Wolves. They're 2-0 up, 2-0 up in the second half, and suddenly their performance went completely downhill. Whether they thought they had won the game and we wrapped it up, it's only Wolves, but they're not playing Wolves. They're actually playing against Man City. 3/4 of the games, because they've got to keep putting them under pressure, and they've got to take the title away from Liverpool and Man City, if you like. They've won it so many times. That's what we're aiming for. It's not about Wolves. And suddenly, bang, 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 it's 2-2. And their performance went downhill. Now, they've been tested, and they've come back again. They've beaten Tottenham and they've beaten Chelsea today. 2 great responses. Now, if they hit a wobble again with a result, which they probably will, between now and the end of the season, with the cup games they've got in front of them as well, they've now got to they learn from experience. If you do learn, how did we react? We didn't panic. We did this. I don't like the word. They keep coming up with enjoy. We've got to enjoy this. I'm not so sure you can enjoy it. I think you can embrace it. You embrace it. It's a bit different than saying you enjoy that pressure, or we enjoy losing.
You can only enjoy that pressure once it's done. You can look back and say, OK, we got through it, but you can enjoy it then. You can't enjoy this.
No.
There's no way that as we speak, that Arsenal team are comfortable, whoever they're playing, at the second half of games at the moment. Not the way they're playing at the minute.
You can embrace it in the sense that you take it on. You endure it. You go through it. I'm going to enjoy doing that, but you don't enjoy the actual what they're actually going through when we're dropping points and things. They're trying to approach it in a way, let's enjoy the battle of even dropping points. No, you embrace it, get through it and play and go again and learn from the experience.
And let's speak to a man you know well, our good friend who certainly enjoyed winning Premier League titles with Arsenal at the Emirates. He's always smiling, isn't he? Manu Petit is with... yes, that's you, Manu. Yes, thank you very much. What did you think of that today?
Hard win. I think Arsenal won ugly, but it's 3 points, 3 very important points. I think last week and today there was 2 big derbies, and they had to respond on critics, how they failed, mentally, and they did it. They got 6 points. I remember back in days when we were winning titles, how many times we won ugly as well. So for me, the most important thing is to get the 3 points today.
Yeah, you've pointed to those before. When you've come off the pitch knowing that perhaps you haven't been in sparkling form, but you've won, sometimes you got more satisfaction from that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think if you ask this question to the Arsenal players, I think they will tell you that they would love to play differently and to get the 3 points. But I'm sure that Glenn and Ian will agree with me by saying that the most difficult trophy in your career is the first one. So as soon as you win something, all of a sudden the experience and the confidence change like this, you know. You press the button and all of a sudden that kind of moments you have on the pitch, you manage it differently.
So having been through it then, what I've just asked the guys here, for the next 9 games, how do they cope mentally better with this pressure?
Listen, I kind of disagree with everything I've heard, you know, so far for weeks now. I think Arsenal, you know, are still first on the table. They have 5 points gap now. The big games coming, you know, at the Etihad soon. They're still qualified on the four competitions. So far so good. I think if you tell me that it's worrying to watch Arsenal, you know, sometimes they are sending worry messages on the pitch, you know. I just want to tell those people that Arsenal are first on the table. They've been leading the Premier League for months now. So if they can win like this at the end of the season, that's fair for me. Yes. Fair enough. I mean, people can try to find arguments, you know, to make Arsenal weak sometimes, but I think they still win the games, important games, and they are first on the table. This is, for me, this is as simple as that, you know. Actually, they're leading the Premier League.
And have been, Manu, since the beginning of October. They've coped with it. So with 9 to play and City have 10,
yeah.
How do you see it now? Do you see it going right to the wire?
I think, as I said before this game, I think quite the same that's what we've done in 1998. I don't know if you remember, but we played the Premier League final away at Old Trafford.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that Arsenal, we have to do that as well at the Etihad. I'm not sure that Arsenal will win every single game until the end. I'm not sure that City will do that as well. They have so many games to play. I think they will drop points, you know, on the way. But I'm pretty sure this game will be probably the most important one.
Great stuff. Manu, great to see you again. Thank
Love you, Manu.
Indeed.
Nice to see you, Manu. Love to see you again.
Manu Petit.
Since about September, Arsenal. It feels that long, that since they've been top of the league, they opened up a big gap. He thought they might run away with it at one stage, but then Manchester City fought back. Aston Villa were there as well, but now it's City that are on their heels. And, of course, their recent run of form, 4 wins out of 4, means the pressure was on Arsenal yet again today. But they responded. Patrick, is that actually quite a big element of this? Because, you know, Gary made the point, you've been there as well, winning many titles. It's a question of sometimes going second is not the easiest when you see your opponents have got the result on the board. You can feel their breath on the back of your neck.
Yeah, but I think Mikel mentioned it quite really well. This is the quality of the Premier League. But they built that experience in the last 4 years. So they finished second, and now they are in the top. And they have to manage to get there at the end. And I think gained so much experience in the last couple of years, and they are really close to get there, to win it. I believe that Arsenal are more stronger than they were last year. Because when you're looking at the team and you're looking at the quality of the players, on the right-hand side, Saka or Madueke. On the left-hand side, they have Martinelli or Trossard. Up front, they have Jesus, they have Havertz coming back from injuries, Eze is here. So they have the squad to go until the end and to win the title. And I think now it's just about believe and keep going and taking game after game and try to not change who you are and not changing your identity. Go and play as the best as you can, like they did it a couple of months ago. In the beginning of the season, I was watching Arsenal, and from the first game of the season, I said Arsenal will win the title because of the way that they were playing. And it's true that it's really difficult to play with such a quality from the first to the end of the season. But this team has quality.
I thought that was a really interesting line, though, that Mikel Arteta used there. And I want to sort of revisit that because it was, we feel like we've been in a run-in for a long time, was what he said. Does that change the mentality? If you think back, UK, you said they were better than last season. But if you go back 2 seasons, they were scoring goals for fun. They scored 91 goals in the season. They finished with 89 points this season and only beaten by City, who got 91. And it could be those two pushing each other again all the way. But does it change the mentality in terms of trying to protect what you've got when you are out in front, rather than chasing something like it seems that Manchester City are right now?
I think that where Arsenal are psychologically is I'm not in the dressing room, obviously, but I feel as if because of the experiences they've had, they almost have the ingredients now psychologically. It's just about going and doing it. I feel like they're in a much stronger position psychologically than they've ever been. They've had so many different experiences in the last 2 seasons where they've been close, you're battling away, and you're almost thinking to yourself, like, what is that one thing that we are missing?
Does that become a bruise, Daniel, or baggage even,
No.
when they've been that close and missed out before?
Well, it can, but I don't think so. I think that it's down to the match winners to step up, to make the difference. It seems like it's only 9 games and it sounds like it, but I think the pressure of it and the exhaustion of it all, and psychologically you become tired because you're thinking, we've got to do this, we've got to execute. They have it in their hands. It's their job to continue this momentum, but it's not easy when you are battling on multiple different fronts. I think the experience of winning the league, and I know that was something that you'd ask Gary in terms of the feeling of winning your first Premier League title and whether that changes your approach or your experience. And that's why I asked you earlier on about 2004 when I mentioned that. It's because I think that the first year, Arsenal, when you won the league with Arsenal, I think they're in a different position to the second time, in the sense of you'd felt the feeling of winning, but you were also very close multiple times. I feel like the similarity with this team is they've gone close multiple times and basically should have won, but they haven't done it. So in their minds and in their spirits, they should already be winners. They've not lifted the trophy, but their spirit should be, we're winners. And that's the thing I think they need to carry into it. Forget the baggage and the pressure of it's our first. It's more like, do I feel like a winner on the inside?
Could this be almost like, if they do get over the line, and yes, they are fighting for 4 trophies, but in terms of the Premier League, could it be the moment like the cork coming out of the bottle for Arsenal, and then they go and do it again and again?
And of course, I think when more you win and more you build the confidence and belief. And I think Arsenal in the last couple of years, they built a team, because Mikel has been there for like 5 years now, and he's really built this team. Top players come in and they are more stronger. And of course, I think if they manage to win it at the end, that will be the momentum and the belief that players need to go there and win it like 2-3 times in a row. In our time, it was really difficult to win 2 titles in a row. We won it once, we didn't, we won it the next years because we were competing against United. And I think in the last couple of years, it was really difficult for Arsenal because there was a Liverpool, there was a Chelsea and a Manchester City. So there was more competition maybe than a couple of years ago. But if they win it this year, that can be Arsenal winning the title for the next couple of years.
So then, when you say that, right, the psychological impact of, say, you competing with Manchester United for all those years, and you knew this is our competitor, there was a lot of energy between the pair of you, right?
We knew that it was us or them.
Yes. And psychologically then, when you're approaching the season and you're in the running and you know it's us versus Man United to go to win the title, if you're second or if you were first in those moments, what is that psychologically like? What was that like for you?
It's always better to be first,
Yeah.
Because you control the momentum and you know that what you need to do is just to win games to get there. So it's always, I believe, to be the one to be chased than the one who chased the first one.
But it almost feels like, Patrick, there's more freedom in chasing.
No, there's no freedom. I think it's, as a competitor, as a winner, from the first game of the season to the last one, you want to be at the top. So I think that Manchester City will want to be in Arsenal position.
Well, they both play on Wednesday night, and it could be the most extraordinary season in Arsenal's history, couldn't it, if it ends with 4 titles. Does there come a point, Patrick, when you do think about maybe sacrificing something in your pursuit of the Premier League? Is the Premier League the most important thing? Or is it the Champions League?
The Premier League is important, I believe, for Arsenal. But at this level, when you are a competitor, you can't choose which game you're going to go for. And I think I was talking earlier on about the squad of Arsenal Football Club. And I think you have enough numbers of quality players to compete in every competition. And of course, it's really important some key players like Odegaard to come back from injuries to help the team. But I don't see Mikel to choose a team A and a team B. They will go for it.
Do you think, Daniel, the Champions League draw could have an impact for both these teams? Because for Arsenal, it's Bayer Leverkusen, then it's a Bodo Glimt or a Sporting, and for Manchester City, it's a Real Madrid, maybe a Bayern Munich.
Yes and no, but look, top football clubs, you have big games, top players, world-class players that have to step up and perform. And we know that there's a lot of football matches, and, you know, we talk about schedules and resting and this, that, and the third. But I think for both teams, they want to be successful in every competition. Every manager, the intensity from the managers is about winning everything. You know, that's the ideal scenario. I think for Arsenal, I would say the Champions League or the Premier League is a huge victory. This season, probably more than any for the Champions League, is a season that it seems as if they have an amazing opportunity based on the draw. They've still got to go and execute. I think the Premier League and why it feels like that's probably more is, yes, the amount of time. Right, we can talk about the Champions League. They've not done that, I think, in the history. But then you look at, because they've been in control for so long, it almost feels like, nah, you have to go and win the Premier League. So if they didn't win the Premier League, I think it would feel worse than if they didn't win the Champions League.
You don't want to disrespect any team in the Champions League, but exactly. You have to say that Arsenal are in a good side of the draw.
Very good. And they are 5 points clear in the Premier League as well. They're in a great position to go all the way in both competitions. It could be absolutely extraordinary.
One of Arsenal's heroes, David Raya, is waiting to talk to us live at the Emirates. David, well played. We'll come to your magnificent role in a moment, but from the team's point of view, how significant a win does that feel?
No, it's a massive win. Every win in this league is massive. So credit to the boys, the way we played. It's just incredible because we know how tough Chelsea are. So very, very happy with the 3 points.
And you must be delighted with your performance because you made some critical saves there today at some very important moments, David.
Yeah, personally I feel really, really good, especially coming off after the Wolves game, and it's just trying to bounce back to my normal self. So keep doing the same thing. So yeah, really, really happy.
And we're just seeing a couple of them at the moment. That one from Garnacho in the 92nd minute.
Yeah, that was very, very tough, especially two players going through the ball. So it was hard to see, but I managed to throw it away.
David, Ian Wright here. Congratulations, David. By any means necessary, I've been saying, but I've got to say, is there a worry in the second half of games that we seem to be, teams seem to be able to get at us too readily? For you to be making that many saves at that stage of the game when they're 10 men, is there a worry? Is there a worry? Is everybody worried there?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Going down to 10 men for them, it doesn't mean it's going to be easier for us because they're a really, really good team and they know what they're doing. We just need to be a little bit more composed with the ball and make a few more passes, not trying to score in every single attack. Just make some passes, make them chase the ball. But after that, it's just the way we manage the game. So if they create the chances, I'm just trying to help as much as possible. And the defence were incredible today as well.
They were incredible at the other end as well, because what I mentioned for everyone, 16 goals from corners now this season as well. That's equalled the Premier League record already.
Yeah, it's just something that on a game like this, which is very, very, very tight, you can open up, and they score from a set piece too. So set pieces nowadays, they're really, really important, attacking and defensive. So we try to get ahead of it a little bit, but that doesn't mean we just play for them. We just have to finish our chances because, especially first half, we played really, really, really well, but the score didn't show up like that.
Well, very well done today. That's a big win. Appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much.
Well done, David.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
What a performance he had there today. And next, Righty, They played together on Wednesday, City and Arsenal, kicking off at the same time, which is going to be interesting.
But again, like Arsenal know exactly what they got to do, and City know what they've got to do. It's a title race. It's on. You know, obviously, Arsenal would have liked it to have been a little bit more gaps in between with the points, but like it's on, and Arsenal know what they've got to do. City know what they've got to do, and it's exciting. Both ends of the table, if I'm being totally honest.
OK. Thank you very much indeed for your company today, Glenn, and for Wrighty. City did their job Saturday night. Big question I've asked of Arsenal on Sunday, and as we've seen, they have got over the line. And now they're 5 ahead, having played a game more. Next stop, Wednesday. They got the job now, and the title race, that's another psychological step in the right direction for Arsenal today, Glenn.
Oh, very much so. I mean, as I said earlier, as we just went off for the advert, City go and do what they did yesterday against Leeds, so the pressure's on them. And in the end, they weren't at their very best, Arsenal, by any means, but they've got a very stiff opponent, and they've overcome them. And I said by hook or by crook, and it's taken 2 set plays, and we know they're excellent at set plays. It's part of the game. And they can lean on that at times, and they've proved that today. So psychologically, that is a massive boost for them. It really is going into the next game, because it's coming quick and fast for Arsenal. They've got game after game, and they've got the squad to deal with it. But psychologically for the league, that is right. OK, City, we've now put that gap against you again. Can you respond next week? And that's what it's going to be like till the end of the season, you feel.
Interviewer, they just asked them anything about how they're feeling coming into it. You know, especially after coming off of Tottenham last week, how they felt, you know, being 1-0 up and scoring so close to half-time. What was it like in the dressing room? And when what did the manager say? And then once you've done it in the end, how are you feeling? Because at the moment, like I mentioned before, Arsenal, you know, we're seeing in the second half again, they are get-atable. You can get at them. And Chelsea had 10 men there. You know, so it would be nice to find out what's happening to Arsenal in the second half, you know, from 2 players who do so well for Arsenal. But again, you know, it comes down like the gaffer said there, you know, you get the job done. But like, I'm happy that the job's done, but I'm still like, I'm going to be nervous for the next game because I'm seeing that again in the second half.
I think earlier in the season, there was games like that where they were difficult to get through, Arsenal. You couldn't create much against... There was morsels. If you're going to get half a chance, you got half a chance. You had to take it. It's not like that at the moment, you know, from Brentford to Wolves and whatever. And today, certainly as well, Chelsea did enough to have, I think, they went toe-to-toe at times and created...
You had more opportunities in the second.
Well, look at the goalkeeper. Look how the goalkeeper played.
Yeah.
Right, Raya for Arsenal was excellent, and he had to make some wonderful saves. And there was good opportunities as well. If they used the ball better, Chelsea, they might have been in. So that was earlier in the season. It was, wow, this is a brick wall. Not only are they good going forward, they're scoring goals from set plays, but my word, defensively, they've got the balance right. And it wasn't like that, and it hasn't been like that. And I think Ian's right. It's a bit nerve-wracking for you, mate.
Yes, it very much is.
But it was the tale of the corners, ultimately.
Yeah.
Let's go through them, because Saliba was talking about his there. He hadn't scored for 16 months, but he reacted quickly after, again, we keep talking about delivery, but it is all about the
great.
delivery.
But there's so much great to do with this. Like, obviously, the delivery, but look at Gabriel. His determination and drive, you know what I mean, to get to that ball, which is put perfectly for him, right at the back post. They've obviously practiced that. You know, Saliba's just got to react there, but the ball's magnificent. The determination and the drive to get there is unbelievable, and he can't be stopped.
No, for me as well. There's a point here I want to make. Arsenal score from these corners now. Very rarely do you see somebody get up like Gabriel, and it's the first contact and it hits the back of the net. It's keeping it in play. Yes. The amount of bodies they put in the box. Yeah. Now, when Chelsea played them last, was it in the League Cup or it might have been the league game, they left 3 up.
Yeah.
They didn't do it today.
No.
They didn't do it today. So you take 3 up, you leave, they have to take 4. So suddenly you're dictating a little bit to Arsenal.
Yeah.
There's more space in there for them, but it's also more space for the referee to see fouls, and then less bodies for that second ball.
Yeah.
When you make that first contact and knock it back or the flick on, you're in trouble. And that's how they get their goals from the set plays, from the corners. So it was really surprising. I was looking to see Chelsea. Are you going to leave the 3 up again, or even 2 up? They didn't do it. And maybe looking back, teams, if you're playing against Arsenal, you've got to take that little bit of risk. And if you do actually get possession, you can then hit them on the counter.
Yeah.
So you've got to come up, and anything in football is like that. Is somebody's making an advantage of something, you've then got to find out an Achilles heel to counteract that.
Yeah.
And that's what management and football's about, as players and everything. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So, Chelsea were able to have their own quality delivery again. Reece James, just as he did in the game earlier in the season. Prior to that, they'd had one which we thought might have been a penalty that Raya saved, but this forced the own goal, Glenn.
Yeah, it's all about the quality as well. The quality of the ball. You know, we talked about Rice facing the wrong way, having a wrestle at the front. If he turns around, he could probably head it away. But Nketiah gets there, he's spare, he's not picking anyone up, and his job is to go and attack it. He knows he can head it, but he can't get it away. He's going to have to flick it and hope that it goes out the back. It's such a good ball in, and they look threatening. This wasn't just by chance. They'd had 4 or 5 of these corners, and every single corner there was a danger, wasn't there, Ian?
You just felt it. You just felt, because again, when you've got somebody who can put the ball in that precisely, Steve, it's frightening. So anytime Chelsea were getting a corner, you know what I mean, you're nervous, you're worried for Arsenal. And again, it doesn't mean it has to be your player that scores it, like we saw with us there. Nketiah scored for him. So yeah, it's all about the delivery. It really, really is.
And you've only conceded 4 from corners all season, as we mentioned. 2 of them have come against Chelsea because we saw what happened at Stamford Bridge in the early game and how similar it was.
Yeah, but again, Steve, it comes down to, and it seems like I'm repeating myself a bit, but if you get that first ball right, which everyone says missed that first man, maybe if Declan was turned round, he might have been able to have a better attempt at clearing it. But if you can avoid that first man, it can go in off of anyone because the ball's so good and the trajectory that was coming in, even if it misses Nketiah, it's on its way into the goal. So someone's going to have to touch it or save it. But again, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It's a set play from a corner, okay? And when you have a set play in and around the D, what happens? You put a wall up to try and put the player off. Even if it's Arsenal or Chelsea or anyone against Arsenal, you've seen it happen. You go and put somebody 10 yards away out there, jumping up and down, trying to put off Rice or James. Their quality. Oh, hang on, they've got a free space there. They can do anything they want. Yeah. Put somebody in there jumping up and down, putting them up. It's a mental thing. Just try and put them, anything that's going to put them out of sync to get that delivery spot on.
So they have to think about how the delivery then.
Exactly. They're thinking, hang on,
that's
this
where
is
the
a bit
pressure comes
different.
from.
Yeah. And maybe you've left 3 up as well. Well, you're asking questions there. They might still go and score, but at least you're trying something to... Because at the moment, it's now gone to how many goals they've scored now?
15.
17, isn't it?
17.
17, sorry.
From corners, yeah.
They've now...
Sorry, 16.
16.
So people are they're scoring off it anyway. Try something different. And from Arsenal's point of view, they sort of they've got a feeling of what the opponents feel.
Let's have a look at the 16th goal they've scored from a corner this season, because it was the winning goal. Timber this time, and ironically, all the defenders in on the act today.
Well, yeah, it was, again, you know, he kind of just drifts in. And it comes into an area where you do feel that Chelsea should be doing more to clear it, because by the time he heads it, he's right in the box. Look, you're feeling like, again, you've got a Chelsea defender who's not looked at the ball once. Gaffer,
Sarr, isn't it?
Sarr, look at him. Look, Sarr, he's just turned round. He's looking. His man's heading the ball. You
don't think he's even seen the ball the whole time, do you?
He's never saw it.
Literally just at the right of the depth, just as Timber's going to head it, that's when he's having a look.
That's the only time, and it actually comes off his back and goes in the net. But I said at half-time, didn't I, that, you know, you're going to get a penalty away or turn round and head it. You know, we said Rice should have done that, actually, for Chelsea's goal. And then it comes up there and Sarr's, like, wrestling with him. He's not even looking at the ball.
I can't understand it.
I just, look, that's the last minute. The ball's arriving and he's just about... What a position defensively that is. That's such a poor position.
He actually can't do it. He's looking at the ball coming in and can't do anything because he's not faced. Yeah. How can that be when you're in training, a situation where the manager will say, I want you to face the player, not see where the ball's coming in, so, and defend him. How can you do that when you can't see the ball? It doesn't make sense. It's the most ridiculous bit of defending you see in football these days.
If you take that to an extreme and you've got a wide free kick and they're all lined up on the 18-yard box, where are they facing? Defenders. So your manager asked you to turn your back, turn your back and face the fella that's
Facing your goal, yeah.
It's not going to happen, is it?
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing from corners. It's just the ball is at a different angle coming into the penalty area.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it was a big part. And would you believe now, 138 corner goals in the Premier League this season. That's already 3 more than all of last season. So that just indicates the emphasis from all the clubs now on these corner kicks.
And how important it is to have somebody who can put it in exactly where you need it.
Is there a concern with Chelsea now? 9 red cards this season, more than any other team. 2 yellows in 3.5 minutes for Pedro Neto today.
Yeah, he was claiming here that he hadn't been booked. He didn't know he had, and it is a foul, it is a booking, and he mistimes it. Martinelli just pops it past him and he brings him down. And then I think he's trying to claim
He's only had
that
one.
I've only had 1 booking. Look. And we've
Look.
Yeah, 1. He's saying 1. And I don't know, because we actually had a look at that, and on the halfway, it was after the goal.
It was 3.5 minutes earlier, after the goal.
After the goal, this happens, look. And he's not booked there.
No.
But he then he picks the ball up and he goes back over.
And then he's booked him.
No.
He must have known.
Of course he knows.
He must have known, yeah.
I think that's indiscipline.
Yeah.
And it's probably something that Liam's going to have to look at, simply because it's costing them. And, you know, they went down to 10 men. It'd be interesting to see Chelsea if they played with that kind of intensity with 11 men. That's what they should be concentrating on, because they went down to 10 men. It's almost like they went, we'll just go for it now.
Yeah.
You know, but for them to have that many sending offs says there's a discipline problem in there.
There is a discipline problem, but it also sometimes when you go down to 10 men, it doesn't make it easier for you. I don't mean that, but the chains come off. You've got your excuse. You've got your excuse already. Yeah. If you lose, well, we went down to 10 men. So everyone relaxes and says, let's go and play. We've got nothing to lose now. And I think they've reacted like that at the Bridge, and they did get a good result today. As Ian says, their reaction was probably too late.
OK, we must interrupt.
They have scored goals from this season, Arsenal. Let's have a look at the first. I mean, it was almost like there was a phony game going on in the first 20 minutes before we got to the real game, which was the set piece, and Arsenal scoring from their very first.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we're talking about guys working tirelessly on the training field, aggression, anticipation in the box. And when you're looking at the marking here of Reece James, of course, you know, we have to highlight the fact that his back's turned. He's got one job, which is literally to block Gabriel. But it is difficult when someone has momentum running towards you.
But again, Gabriel in particular seems to be just impossible to stop whoever you are.
It seems that way, but again, there's got to be things. You have to have preparation in order to stop what Arsenal are doing. This is clearly what they're going to do every single game. Gabriel's the main man who they're targeting in the box. You got to have a player who can deliver the ball, but his aggression is for me what stands out most. Patrick, would you say?
I think this is one of Arsenal's strengths. They're quite really good on that, and I think they spend quite a lot of time on the field to practice. But it's quite really interesting because they open the space to create for Gabriel. And of course, like you mentioned, the momentum running at Reece is quite really difficult for him to defend that situation. But after that, I think when he managed to go over Reece, you can see the determination and the competitiveness of the player. So he in the 1v1, he's coming running at Reece, he makes the difference. And from now, he's more determined to win the ball. And then you can see so many players of Arsenal inside the 6-yard box, and of course Saliba reacted quite really well, and then it's really difficult for the goalkeeper to defend. But Arsenal are quite really strong in these situations.
But it's not just Arsenal that were effective with it today, and it did feel a bit like Chelsea had done a lot of work on this as well in the build-up to this game, didn't it?
Yeah, I think both teams didn't really create so many chances, and they both rely on set pieces. And here you can see it's in a slow motion. You can see Rice fighting with the Chelsea player, but he doesn't look at the ball at all. And of course, so many players in front of the goalkeepers with the deflection from the own Arsenal players, they concede an own goal. But there is nothing in this situation that the keepers can do because there's so many bodies in front of him.
This is becoming a real trend, and we've seen it on every goal scored today, and probably the ones that didn't go in as well, with defenders trying to stop their runners, trying to do anything to block, to maul, to hold, to drag, whatever you can do to be effective, but actually a lot of the time not watching the ball. Is this the way that defending is going now?
But that is a problem for me, because the ball's coming in the box, you have a job, which is to play the ball. It's not to play the man, right? And that's, for me, it's always been about that. It's if you're saying my job is literally to mark this player and not care about where the ball is, I think that's a foul. I'm not. And another place on the pitch, that's a foul. You can't have your back turned to the ball and it not be deemed. You're not even playing the ball. You could argue that if Rice is facing the other way, maybe he could defend the cross. But I think we see a lot of this now where it's because there's a lot of crowding going on and a lot of, grabbing and physical elements to it. It's less necessarily about playing the ball and more about there's just bodies everywhere and it's complete chaos. And how do you deal with the chaos? I think Arsenal are very good at creating chaos and executing off the back of it. But clearly defensively here, they got it wrong.
As they did as well for the winning goal. And yet again, a theme for that was at the back post, Santos and Caicedo actually facing the wrong way entirely, trying to defend this.
I think this is a big issue, and I think we need to find the right answer for helping the referees to make a decision here. When you don't looking at the ball and you just stop the players running, I think that has to be a foul, and I think referees has to be brave enough to give a foul and to give a penalty, because when you don't look at the ball, it became really difficult.
And yet again, we're seeing, 12, 13 players jostling for the ball, jostling for a position, trying to either get some contact on the goalkeeper or not in that instance,
I mean,
to try and get an advantage.
With Santos here, you see, he's trying to get his head around, but the goalkeeper was complaining earlier on about being bumped, and he got bumped by his own teammate. Again, it's just complete chaos in the box.
But do you agree with Patrick's point that maybe there needs to be a tweak of the rules or the laws? I'm not sure that everyone is enjoying watching this kind of scrum on set pieces.
I think at this point it's becoming a little bit... I liken it to almost like the tush push in NFL, right? In NFL, there's a play called the tush push that the Philadelphia Eagles were great at, and they're the best at doing it. Complete different sport, I know. But their job is to say, OK, stop us. Help us. If we're going to keep doing this until we're stopped. They ended up, I think, tweaking the rules slightly. But in the end, it becomes like, Arsenal are great at doing this. This is what we're known for. Stop us. Like, at the end of the day, we can talk about the rules, but Arsenal are making it more, like, I suppose, amplified because they're so good at executing. So it's going to continue until there potentially is a tweak, because, if I'm good at doing something and you can't stop me doing it, I'm going to keep doing it.
And we should absolutely make the point that it's not just Arsenal. It was Chelsea as well today. It was Everton against Manchester United last Monday. There's been 138 corners already scored this season. That is already more than the last season's tally. And we've got 99 games to go. So it is very much a growing trend in our league. Now, 2-1, there were still chances for Chelsea to get back into this game. Do you give them credit, Patrick, for how they approach these final moments?
Yeah, I give them a credit, because I think scoring the goal just before half-time give them that kind of momentum. I think in the second half, they entered the field in a better situation. I think they were the better team in the beginning of the second half. They created those kind of situations, but Raya was really good. There's the deflection in the near post, and the reaction here to stop the ball was really good from him.
I think if he could turn back time, Joao Pedro will want to have that one back. I think he knows that was a great chance for him. Like, for how well he's been playing, I think the chance played before was easier than this one.
He's centimetres, well, I suppose a few inches from that one, isn't he, Cole Palmer? But then this was the one where Garnacho, Gary said the point in commentary, if there's a bit more zip on this, maybe it does find the bottom corner.
We've seen those floating, but again, the step from Raya, you see the right leg step, he's got that strength in his leg to be able to catapult himself across. We've seen those go in many times in the past, but it's a fantastic save from him.
And then this, we're all looking to see whether the official had his flag up, and indeed he did, to deny. He didn't at first, did he? He did there after the ball was in the back of the net, which was a very worrying moment for Arsenal fans. But that was correctly ruled out, and 2-1 it finished to Arsenal. Let's bring in Gary Neville, who, of course, was watching on high for us. Gary, what's your overriding feeling having watched Arsenal get through this today, but not in a straightforward manner against Chelsea?
I mean, I think from where they were, Dave, a week last Wednesday after the Wolves game, I know Mikel Arteta before the game said that it doesn't matter when the other team that you're challenging for the title plays first, but it really does. I mean, City having to sort of get their points on the board on a Saturday and then Arsenal have to follow them on a Sunday does add that pressure for Arsenal. And I think it's been a really good week for them in 2 games that are quite difficult. The North London derby, obviously Tottenham aren't playing well, but they still have to go there and do a job under pressure after the Wolves game. And then today was a real struggle for them. Not playing well in terms of open play and the fluidity, but getting over the line. And I think that's really important. With all the competitions that Arsenal are in, you're not going to play well every single week, but they had to win 3 points. They had to get over the line and win the game, and they've done that. And I think that counts for a lot.
Gary, the bigger picture, of course, is Arsenal winning their first Premier League title for 22 years. If they are to get there, what is it that they will be leaning on in these last 9 games, do you think?
The quality, their physical strength, the experience of the last 3 years of losing it. I mean, they surely have to sort of look upon what's happened in the last 3 years. They know this is going to be hard work. 10 more weeks of paying these Arsenal fans, watching in the crowd, watching at home sometimes when they're away from home. This is not easy. This is not going to be pleasant at times. It's going to be anxious, but they've got to enjoy the thrill of it. That's why they're here. We always, every single time we come to Arsenal, and we've done this for a number of years, and Patrick obviously played in the last title-winning team, we go over to that 2004 year that's over there halfway up across that stand and say they haven't won the league for 22 years. And they've got to try and get rid of that. And in the last 3 years, they've been up against, obviously, City and Liverpool, and it's been obviously tough for them, and they've lost out in those battles. And call upon the experiences that they've had, dig deep, just dig in like you wouldn't believe. And they're doing that. Look, they're a resilient bunch. They've got a lot of fight about them. They're good physically. I think they're a mentally strong team. I don't think they're weak. I think that a few years ago they were quite vulnerable. They were a bit immature. That's not this group that we're watching out here. I think the complication for them, Dave, is they've got 4 trophies to try and go at. And you can't throw away a Champions League. You can't throw away a Carabao Cup final. You know, you've got to go for every single trophy. So how Mikel Arteta rotates, how he uses his squad, how he stays clear of injury is going to be important.
Would you have a view on that in terms of what should be their priorities, if indeed it does come to that?
I think they've got to, in some ways, take a massive risk, or a calculated risk, if you like, in the FA Cup. That's not to disrespect the FA Cup, but I think you've got to look at that competition and say, right, I've got to trust my second 11 all the way up to the semi-final. I think the Carabao Cup final, it's a one-off game. You've got to play your best team. The Champions League, you've got to go and play your best team. And obviously the Premier League, you've got to go and play your best team. But the FA Cups, you know, they do give a little bit of respite for Mikel Arteta to take a risk, and that might be the competition that they do sort of falter in, maybe slightly. Obviously they've got Mansfield, so they'll probably get across the line in that one, but as it goes through, that'll be the one that I think might fall by the wayside.
Gary, you've been there, you've been in this position, you'll remember it very well. Of course, you went on to win multiple titles, but this first one, is it different? Is this going to be a case this evening of in this dressing room, they're going to be concerned about a performance, or is it going to be just huge relief or delight that they've got these 3 points?
No, I think they'll have delight. I don't think they'll be sat there. I mean, look, you always want performance, but it's impossible. I know they've had a week's rest, but Arsenal play nearly every 3 days and have done for such a long time now. It is impossible to play every 3 or 4 days and play at a high level from a performance perspective. It just is impossible. So getting over the line and getting games out under your belt and wins under your belt when you're actually doing that is something that's quite important. They've got that in them to be able to do it. And look, I have to say that the first title that I won was in 95-96, and it was a challenging experience. Your legs start to get heavy towards the end. You start to read every headline. You can't escape it. The noise is constant. I'm very lucky, and we were very lucky as young lads. We had very experienced players who'd won 2 or 3 titles. The one worry, other than injuries and the sort of amount of games that they play, is that they're up against Pep Guardiola's machine, who have won titles, and they haven't got any experience in the dressing room. I mean, Gabriel Jesus has won it, but he doesn't look like the type that's going to be able to get the other players over the line on his own. So the one thing that you would say is that who is the person in that dressing room that's settling everybody down, that's composing them? We had a lot of experienced winners when we were winning it for the first time, and it is hard work, but
I do think they'll get there. The experience of the last 3 or 4 years, I think, will just be enough for them.
Gary, thank you very much. That's an interesting point. We'll perhaps expand on that to here, but we'll let you go for now. Gary, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.